In Hebrew, Jeremiah is pronounced Yirmiyahu, and in Latin it is Ieremias. The Hebrew name Jeremiah may mean the Lord exalts or the Lord establishes. It may refer to the fact that Jeremiah was one of the few individuals mentioned in the Bible as being set apart by God before his birth for a special mission and purpose. He was born in the city of Anathoth, about 5 kilometers northeast of Jerusalem. His father, Hilkiah, was one of the priests in Anathoth in the land of Benjamin and was part of the southern kingdom of Judah. Welcome to our Bible Stories channel, where we delve into the rich tapestry of biblical narratives to uncover the timeless lessons and profound wisdom embedded in each story. In today's exploration, we journey into the life of the remarkable prophet Jeremiah. His story is not just a historical account, but a source of inspiration, guidance, and reflection for our lives today. Join us as we unfold the layers of Jeremiah's life, his prophecies, and the enduring messages that resonate across generations. Despite being called by God to serve as a prophet, Jeremiah never ceased to be a priest and intercede for people, literally weeping for them. Because of this, he is considered the weeping prophet. In today's video, we will talk about the prophet's history. Beloved, I ask for your support. Please subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. It helps a lot to produce more videos. Without further ado, let's begin. Jeremiah's ministry began in the 13th year of King Josiah and continued to the reigns of the last 5 kings of Judah, covering a period of about 40 years. Josiah was one of the most righteous kings of Judah and implemented various reforms. When he died, Jeremiah bitterly lamented him. After Josiah, 4 unjust kings ruled: Jehoahaz, Jehoiakim, Jehoiakim, and finally Zedekiah, who was on the throne when the Babylonian forces destroyed Jerusalem and burned the temple. The book of Jeremiah is the longest of prophetic books. To give you an idea, if you combine the 12 minor prophet books, they make up only a third of Jeremiah. Jeremiah lived in the last days of the southern kingdom of Judah. He consistently warned an imminent disaster caused by the nation's neglect of true religion, its return to pagan practices, and its social injustice. Because of his terrible predictions against Judah, Jeremiah was continually subjected to persecution, ridicule, and hostility from kings and rulers. He was thrown into a pit full of mud or sewage. Jeremiah was not the only prophet of his time. Habakkuk and Zephaniah were among his contemporaries. He also overlapped with the time of Ezekiel, who was in captivity in Babylon. It is impressive that the substance of the messages proclaimed by Jeremiah and Ezekiel was similar, despite one prophesying in Palestine and the other in Babylon. During Jeremiah's ministry, in 612 BC, Assyria was defeated by Babylon, which became the dominant military power. Nebuchadnezzar's army partially destroyed Jerusalem in 604 BC and took captives to Babylon in the first part of 3 main deportations. The second group of exiles was taken to Babylon in 597 BC, and the third and final removal occurred around 586 BC, when Jerusalem was burned and destroyed. During these invasions, Jeremiah was duly protected and received freedom and provisions from the invading army captain. Later, Jeremiah was taken against his will along with his secretary Baruch and the daughters of King Zedekiah. They escaped and returned to the land of Judah. His final fate is not clearly recorded in the Bible. Jeremiah was appointed as a prophet to the nations and to all the kingdoms of the world. He was specially sent to help Israel, although much of his message was directed at the people of Judah. He was also instructed to prophesy to the nation of Israel. This has special significance, as the 10 northern tribes of Israel were punished and captured in 722 BC, about 100 years before Jeremiah began his ministry. Why is this fact significant? It is illogical to imagine that his prophecies refer to ancient Israel before the captivity of Israel in 722 BC. This would be like predicting the First or Second World War long after they had passed. Passages in Jeremiah clearly refer to the period before Christ's return at the end of this current era of human government. It is evident that there is a warning message for the modern descendants of the people of Israel. Through Jeremiah, God warns our modern nations that if they reject him and biblical teachings, it will lead to moral and spiritual degradation, requiring a terrible penalty. Jeremiah is often characterized as a gloomy discourager with a pessimistic prophetic message. This is a one-sided impression that does not capture the entire content of his book. He officially proclaimed the message that God gave, a warning of imminent punishment, unless the people repented of their voluntary disobedience. However, Jeremiah's message also contained remarkable and joyful prophecies of mercy, deliverance, and abundant life for all. He predicted a time when the Messiah would return to abolish human suffering, wars, and misery. Through Jeremiah, God revealed the way to a change of heart that will make a world of peace possible. Jeremiah was a prophet of the Old Covenant with the heart of the New Covenant. He is portrayed as someone who cried and lamented over the iniquity and unrepentant attitude of his people. However, his sadness was not a weakness, but an indication of a spiritually strong and mature individual. Jeremiah was in good company, as Jesus Christ himself is described as a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. In chapters 18 and 19, Jeremiah employs the analogy of the potter and the clay to illustrate a fundamental biblical principle. God is the potter, and we are the clay. The clay has no right to demand anything from the potter. If the potter wants to reshape the clay, it depends entirely on him. Similarly, we must be willing to let God mold us according to his will and purpose. We serve a loving and compassionate God, and whatever form he decides to mold us into will only be for our benefit. God will bless those who respond positively. We can draw two lessons from the potter and clay passage. First, we need to know that we are fragile, starting with our physical bodies. God created us from dust. However, our fragility is also moral. We live in days of relativism where everyone does as they please. This generates anguish because human beings need parameters. We are also spiritually fragile. Many times, we falter in our faith. The second lesson is that we need to trust in the Lord's faithfulness. When Jeremiah went down to the potter's house, he saw the potter working at the wheel. Similarly, God entrusts himself to his work, which is to make and remake us. His specialty is making vessels of honor, and he does it according to his will and love. God has control of all things. We need to surrender to his action and not be reluctant. Jeremiah, the prophet who prophesied during the reigns of multiple kings, lived in the period of the decline and fall of the southern kingdom in the 7th and 6th centuries BC. He was born around 650 BC in the city of Anathoth, in the territory of Benjamin near Jerusalem. In addition to being a prophet, he was also a priest. The exact circumstances of Jeremiah's death are not known, but many ancient historians claim that he was stoned to death in Egypt by some rebellious Hebrews. However, the Holy Scriptures do not confirm this. As we conclude our journey through the life of the prophet Jeremiah, we hope you found inspiration and insight in the profound messages woven into his story. May the lessons from Jeremiah's life continue to resonate in your heart and mind, guiding you in your own journey of faith. Thank you for joining us. Stay tuned for more enriching tales from the Scriptures. Until next time, may the wisdom of the Bible illuminate your path.